Absolutely, it's a new Kong for a new generation, but also it's why do you want to see that story again? We have several. We have at least three actual just retellings of the same Beauty and the Beast story. Go to the island, fall in love with the girl, go back to New York, Kong dies.
Well, I think that what Kong represents is the two sides of us. The one side that really wants to dominate and be on top and have ultimate power. And then the other part of us that knows that we don't get anywhere through dominance. We get there through empathy and compassion and uniting. I think that we're still trying to figure out where we stand with that, hence another Kong film.
I think he's a myth. I think he's become a myth of motion pictures because he's been around almost as long as cinema itself. And to be part of the legacy of Kong films was such a privilege, but also that this was going to be so different from the other ones. It is a rock and roll take on a classic adventure, and that's why I wanted to do it.
We gotta get out of this place. Girl, there's a better life for
My influences are all over the place. Okay, so the movie is, let's say you take the awe of Jurassic Park, the original, combine that with like the edge of Aliens, and sort of like a throwback adventure vibe of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Combine that with like the aesthetics and the attitude of Platoon or Apocalypse Now. You know, take like the spirituality of a Miyazaki film, take some of the absurdity of like South Korean cinema right now, and then then you like factor in like my anime and video game references and all this dorky stuff. But yeah, like my favorite filmmakers are Kubrick and Ford and Kurosawa and these older guys, you know, and the way they told stories was different.
I hope that that's something that comes across in this film. I mean, I think it was something for all of us that became very clear while making this film, because we were shooting in real locations. We were shooting in Hawaii, Australia, Vietnam, deep in jungles that need to be protected, that are beautiful, and at the end of the day, no matter how hard we would try, if it was gonna rain that day, it was gonna rain that day, and we were gonna have to shut down production. So I felt like, you know, we started our day when the sun came up, the day was over when the sun went down. I felt like we were getting very, very close to being back in our roots, as close as you could be on a movie set, I guess. But it reminded me of how important it is that we are the ones that have to protect it, because they can't speak, they can't send out a tweet, they can't write a bill for themselves. It's up to us.
He represents the power of nature, that nature can be both noble and terrifying, and that the natural order is a brutal one, but it's one that we need, it's necessary.
Watch my daddy in bed at time. Watch his hair been a turning gray.
I've never wanted to be in, to play just one kind of role. I like to move between the lanes, and I feel very lucky that I've been allowed to. There are certain responsibilities you have if you're, leading an action film, and I've learned a lot from watching Chris Hemsworth do it. He works so hard in doing those films, and probably harder than people really imagine, because he's so, as a man, he's so gentle and so warm-hearted and light and so funny. I think people don't see how hard he works, because you're having to sustain the energy every day to do these very physical things.
I know it, baby. You know it too.
Es importante ver con la Isla Calavera al cine porque es una aventura clásica, es maravillosa. Tiene un gorila enorme y lo quiero.